So manufactured home communities have been on the rise all over Florida, specifically here in the Hernando County area, where two of our most popular 55 and older manufactured communities, Brookridge and Highpoint, are a cornerstone of the market here in our area. But we talk to a lot of people coming from block homes who don't really know what to expect in a manufactured home and what that looks like when you're trying to buy one. So in this video, we're going to cover the 5 things that you need to know. And if you stay to the end, you're going to get another bonus tip that you will benefit from if you're looking to go from a block home situation to a manufactured home situation. My name is Andre Janal here from the Adams Group, and I'm here with the one and only James Adams. And we're talking today manufactured home communities, specifically for us, our two most popular ones, Brookridge and Highpoint here off of State Road 50 in Cortez. So, James, here we go. Let's go and talk a little bit about these 5 things that people should know. And number 1 being the magic age, 1976. What does that mean?
So June 15th of 1976 for now. This could change in loan guidelines, but this is the cutoff to get conventional financing. So the things that we know, FHA, VA, conventional. Now those programs are available for homes built after June 15th of 1976. Hasn't changed. At some point that probably will change in 1977 or 78, but for today that is the difference. And that's a huge difference for a lot of people who may watch this video because they just don't have that median price point around 170. They don't have 170K cash. They're moving 40 or 50K that they had in equity over into this house, and they do need a loan. So that's one where we get a ton of questions about. They're looking at the ones built before 1976. Now there are ways of financing it through private equity, which you mentioned, but those rates are considerably higher and usually don't fit into the budget of what people are trying to do.
Right. Yeah, so to be clear, conventional financing, when you say that, is through a mortgage company.
Yes.
When we say alternative financing, we're saying that there's some sort of private equity group that is willing, as part of their portfolio, depending on your credit worthiness and your score and other factors, that they may finance it. And we do have an option for people to talk to, but it also is going to come at a premium because it's a private equity alternative investment, correct?
Yeah, a little more risky.
That's
risky. Why the conventional financing have this date is that they've determined that's where they want to finance at, because if they're older than that, there's a little bit more risk in possibly, the structure of the home and how well was it upkept and these type of things.
Great. So now, as an advice to anybody watching this video, if you're searching either through our database in terms of our listing alerts, or you're searching through something like Realtor or Zillow, you want to set the filter to be post 1976 in order to filter out all of the homes that will not be able to be financed. We see this a lot, and I talk to a lot of people who really like a home only to be crushed when I tell them that it has no ability to be financed because it's pre-1976 and they did not know that.
Yes.
And so that is a key point in there. Okay, point number 2, engineering inspection. So now when we're buying a conventional block home, an engineering inspection is actually not part of that buying process, which is why a lot of people are unfamiliar with this additional inspection that comes with buying a manufactured home. So tell me, what is the engineering inspection for? What's its purpose? And why should people looking at a manufactured home care about it?
Let's separate 2 things, because in the Northeast, an engineering inspection actually may be required on a block home, and it is something completely different than what we're going to talk about here. So guys, you don't have to, but we're going to recommend that you get a general home inspection from an inspection company on any home that you ever purchase with us. That is not an engineering inspection. That is somebody who's looking at everything, telling you the problems that they see, and telling you who you might want to consult for further evaluation if it's needed. An engineering inspection is looking at the underneath of the mobile home. It's looking at the tie downs to make sure that they're up to today's codes. It's making sure that the piers that are holding up the structure are all touching and level and there's no weak points underneath it. And this is a place where we commonly see problems, and it's not a cheap inspection. It runs somewhere around $400 depending on which company that you use. And we do see problems come back here. Now, those problems are the easiest to negotiate in most cases because the seller understands that if you're having this problem, somebody else will likely have this problem next. So they need to take care of it at some point.
Okay. So number 3, differences again between block and manufactured, titles and retirement. So talk a little bit about titles and the titling process with a manufactured and how it differs from somebody who may be coming from like a block home anywhere, either in Florida or in the country.
Yeah. So a block home is a permanent structure. It's affixed to the land. You're not going to pick it up and put it on a semi truck and move it somewhere else. So the deed is already recorded inside, right? So the ownership of that property happens in the transference of the land, which is the same as with mobile homes. But with mobile homes, that mobile home was driven to the property, right? Mm-hmm. And when anything drives on the road, it's going to have a title just like your car. So when that gets brought to the property, depending on when exactly how this happened, if it was cash, they already owned the land, they pulled the permits, they did everything. A lot of times they don't go back and get that mobile home retired to the land. So what that means is that those title numbers will actually appear inside of the deed where they're recorded that these mobile homes, and if it's two sides in a double wide, these two title numbers are retired to the land. And that usually happens later on if it was bought cash and they owned it. They didn't have a need to do this. But when you are financing a home, that bank surely wants to know that you're getting the land and the mobile home at the same time. So those titles need to be retired. Most lenders will allow for that retirement to happen at closing, and then it hits the DMV 6 weeks later. You need to be very careful with your lender if this situation comes up, because I have seen lenders that require the title to be retired prior to closing, which could completely kill a deal. So this is something, whether you're working with us, we'll bring it up and we'll go through this with whatever lender you're working with. We have great lenders here locally that do allow it to happen the way it's supposed to happen, which means that it retires at closing and it hits the DMV 6 weeks later. This is a big deal, y'all. If you're financing, I cannot stress to you enough, lending on mobile homes requires an expert in lending on mobile homes. This is very, very important. I can be passive sometimes on block, but I do not want to see you lose an escrow check. I do not want to see you lose the house that you love. And if you choose the wrong lender here that doesn't know what they're doing with mobile homes, I have just seen these deals fall apart more often than not. And that's why I highly recommend that you choose somebody that we know knows the process.
Absolutely. Okay. Number 4, one common concern is, do manufactured homes appreciate or depreciate? How is the appreciation process on the manufactured home for someone who's coming maybe from a block home scenario?
Yep. Great question, by the way. So this concern comes a little bit with title, right? So like you're thinking about this has been something that traveled across the road in order to get here, and cars depreciate, right? So when it comes to thinking about a mobile home, that same mindset might apply. Here's what I've seen in my experience, right? Looking at Brookridge and Highpoint, growing up in this area, you could commonly buy homes in that neighborhood for 50, 60,000. Livable, good homes growing up here inside of this area. And those same homes are now selling for 160, 170, 180, 190 through the appreciation that's happened over time. Mm-hmm. I would say that the appreciation range true. To do a true data test on whether it's exactly in line with single family, I don't have that here. But if you've looked at these neighborhoods, look at past sales, look at what they sold for. You're going to see that the common selling price was under 100 in those neighborhoods. And it definitely appreciated with the market, even though these homes are built in the 70s and 80s.
Gotcha. Okay. Now this, number 5, this one I think we're both passionate about this. I think you might be more passionate than I am about this, which is, and I'll lay the context for everyone. So you have a manufactured home that you can go and you can purchase, and then you have two essential options. I own the land.
Yep.
Or I do something called lot rent. Okay. Which there's a lot to cover in this one, but I'm just going to give you the floor. When I say the term lot rent to you, what comes to mind?
Taking 7 $100 bills, and I am bringing them up in front of me, and I'm taking a Zippo, and I'm lighting it on fire every single month.
Okay.
Right? That is what it means to me. There may be a role for this. I can't really understand it because if you want the simplicity of having your yard maintained and having some amenities, let's be real, you can get a lawn keeper for $75-$80 a month. These are very small parcels if you own them. So that does not justify what we're doing here. The amenities are available inside of these other neighborhoods for $48 a month. So that does not make it, right? Now, what I think about is building wealth is really what I think about. I think about the day that I leave this earth, that there are people that I have something I want to leave behind to, and I want it to be substantial so that it might be able to help them in some area of their life. And going back to appreciation, right? If that home is sitting, you look it up. There's several of them around here. Look up the lot rent communities, look at 1970s homes, and check out what they're going for. 20, 30,000, right, is what you're going to get for that home. Now, go look at the same age inside of Highpoint and Brookridge, and you're going to see 160, 170, 180,000. Meanwhile, to earn that $20,000, $30,000 worth of that mobile home, you have paid $700 a month to earn that depreciation, as opposed to transferring that into a mortgage of similar price. And now you have an appreciating asset that's happening, so that when you leave this earth, I don't care if it's for your family, I don't care if it's for your lawn guy, I don't care if it's for a kid that's been really nice to you and took care of you and brought you groceries. There is somebody that you can impact their life by leaving that nest egg behind to, and you should think about building your wealth through real estate at any age, So I'm really passionate about this because when I hear lot rent and the simplicity of it and all the things that people talk themselves into, you've been sold a vision that is incorrect. It is not good for you. It is not good for your lifestyle. I can help you to replace that and build wealth at the same time. And yeah, I do get animated about it because I don't like people lighting their money on fire every single month and smiling about it.
Yeah, and I've had too many stories of people who said their lot rents have been doubled just recently. And they don't own the land, they don't own anything underneath it. They can have that property sold from beneath them.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely a lot of that.
The amenities are awesome.
Right. Well, let's talk about amenities, right? Because the bonus one here, and now, we're talking manufactured homes as a whole, things that you need to know, but also in the context of two of our most popular, which is these two communities called Highpoint and Brookridge here in Hernando County. But they are HOA communities, which comes down to that lifestyle and amenity. So as a bonus, we're talking an HOA that's anywhere between $48 and $50 a month that has a recreation center, pool. They do have golf course. I believe that's additional. They have RV storage because I know a lot of people like to travel on RVs. So there's RV storage and ability to do that. You're centrally located here on State Road 50, which is access to pretty much everything that you can need. So if somebody was looking at manufactured homes, whether on owning their land and the non-HOA route, and just the benefits of the HOA and what these communities have, what do you see there?
I mean, it goes back like the only difference between a lot rent and the HOA is a lawn guy. That's the only difference in that you're paying $700 over there and you can pay $48 here. Like that's just the essential difference. So what I will say is that everything you named is there. Community pool, tennis courts. They have. This is what I really look at when we get to 55 plus, right? So we may be 60, maybe 70 watching this video. There's some part of us that also wants to meet some new people and to have a community, have people that I can depend on. At that age, I might be thinking more about proximity to hospital, which there's literally one right next door to Highpoint and right down the road from Brookridge. The communities inside of this are just incredible.